Okay, we're down here taking a look at the Gene Autry Roundup guitar that I picked up just as a preliminary examination to see what we can do with it to maybe bring it back to reasonable proportions. The pins here at the end seem to be a little bit high to me. I don't know if they don't fit the hole properly or what. We got a little bit of wiggle room as far as lowering the saddle for the strings, because we got quite a gap at the top of the guitar here. There's a large gap. If you go down, of course, toward the bottom, not too bad, but around the 5th fret it starts to take off and just zooms into the wilderness. So I don't know what I'm going to be able to do about that, but we'll see. Never really did a neck reset. Not sure if it even needs a neck reset, actually. Down inside, the wood seems to be in pretty good tack down there. Got a lot of scraped portions up at the top of the guitar, a lot of scratches. A lot of the original artwork is gone, but there is some left. Maybe after a cleanup, some of this will look a lot better. Turn it on its side here. See, the side is not too bad. The needs a good cleaning up, but the injuries are not too bad. You got a lot of wear and tear around here, but the back seems to be pretty well intact there. So it's not a problem as far as peeling off. Whether I'm going to have to remove the back or not sure. Hoping not have to do that, but we have to. We'll take it as it goes. Flip it over the other side here. No major cracks or breaks on the sides. Everything seems to be pretty much intact there. The neck looks pretty good. I don't know, it seems like it. I don't know if it's been removed before or what, but maybe it's just a lot of dirt that's collected around on the inside there. The neck itself on the back is very well worn. This guitar has had a lot of use, evidently. The head is worn out, been hit around probably in different places. As I understand, this has been in an attic for umpteen years. Don't know how long completely, but it's been quite a while. See, a lot of the dust is still in there. Got to clean up this fretboard. Over the top of the fretboard, we've got some nice gouges here from where this thing has been played, evidently. Must have been a real rough player who really pressed those strings down. And going over to the head here, you can see the logo up at the top, which is still visible, but not really that good. A lot of dust, dirt in there. And the tuners, a little bit rusty, but maybe they can be cleaned up and reused. Might not have to go with any new tuners there. Front of the guitar down at the bottom has a nice crack, but it seems somewhat superficial, so might be able to fix that. We'll see how that goes. The binding looks good all around the outer edges. Nice cleanup on that would do some good. A few gouges here and there, but that's where we stand right now as far as my initial purchase of this. I think I paid something like $135 for it, considering it sold for $9.75 back in 1932. I guess the prices probably match up pretty good. Alright, I'm going to take a break here now and probably take these strings off and see what happens with this neck if it drops back. Okay, I've taken the strings off of this guitar, and there's some of the filthiest old rusty strings I've ever seen, and even had a job getting them out of the holes here. Don't know why, but it seemed like the ball on the end seemed to have a struggling time coming back out of them. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Not even sure if this is the original bridge here, but its saddle is in one piece, and it looks like it could be shaved down so that I could eliminate some of that lift in the strings. And again, as I said before, the fretboard is really worn out. Not sure if I want to try replacing the fretboard, but we'll see about that. Okay, you can see there's somewhat of a hump in the middle here. Not exactly what it should be. I think it should be a flatter surface than that. I have to figure out some way of flattening that down, probably. Maybe the bridge is pulling up on that guitar and making it humped in the middle there. Okay, we're going to try going inside the guitar with the GoPro here. Let's see what kind of vision we can get. Flashlight. Along the lower bout right now. From left to right. We can see anything there or not. This way here. Outside. Inside here. Near the top where the block is. There's a number there, but I can't quite figure out if it's 7895. I see it better this way. And then I could put it down there. Might be able to see something there on the wall. I don't know if that's another additional part of the number or just a stamp that they had. Let's turn this around a little bit. Can't see anything there. And we'll look toward the back. See if there's anything visible down inside there besides dust. Dust. Old Gene Autry song, Dust, Dust. Certainly is fitting for this guitar. Okay, we'll take it out now. And also, I want to show you these pins we had in the bottom of the guitar. They're really filthy, of course, but they were even crooked and looked almost as though the strings had some tape wrapped around the bottoms too, so it would jam them in really tight. It's probably why they weren't fitting all the way down. I'll have to look into seeing if I can find some nice ones that'll fit in there later on. A little bit of fantastic to the bridge here, and it looks pretty neat right now, and doesn't seem to be tearing up from the wood at all, so I would assume it's down there pretty good. It's any raising up at all, but I do see a buckling in the body. So I tried a little bit of the fantastic at the base here over the drawing. It doesn't seem to remove any of that, so I may use a bit of fantastic to clean the dirt off it. Obviously there's a lot of dirt on it. That just came off from where I rubbed over the Gene Autry name, and it looks a little bit cleaner. You can see the crack a lot better, of course, and notice that there's another little crack, fine line crack here after I took the strings off. But we'll see how it goes after I clean the entire guitar with fantastic, actually it's Lysol all-purpose cleaner, and it seems to have done a pretty good job on a lot of the grime and the filth. In here there was an awful lot of scum in there, and it just wouldn't come loose without some help. Same with the edges of the bridge, and up along the neck here I clean the whole thing up. It's got a little bit of a shine to it now. Tried the nut. Might have to use some steel wool or something on that nut to clean it up a little more. Headstock seems to be a little bit brighter now too that I've cleaned it up. Probably going to have to take those tuners off and clean those. I noticed that one of them got a screw loose there to begin with, so it's going to need some work on that. And sides shine a little better now that I've cleaned them up. Same with the back. Guitar smells a little better too. And what looked like it might have been a problem with the neck here seems to be fine now. Now that I've cleaned all the scum out of there. Same here. Looks like this. I'm going to take off that tailpiece knob there and see if I can clean that up a little bit. It'll need a good polishing too, I imagine. I'm thinking of maybe trying, first of all, instead of fiddling around with the neck or whatever, trying to sand down that bridge piece here and see if I can get that to help with the little gap in the strings here, and then maybe use some ball end nylon strings on this rather than steel strings. Might make a difference raising it up a little bit. I really don't want to take that neck off and play around with that since I've had no experience with that. But we'll see how it goes. Guitar, rather grungy looking, and I've taken off the little screws. I'm going to remove the tuners, see what happens, and maybe I can clean them up and oil them a bit and see if we can't get them working in good shape. Let's see how they come off here. This is probably pretty well locked on there over the years. So many years like that. See if we can take it out of here. Okay, well, it came out fairly easy. It looked pretty good. Not too bad a shape. Wonder if a little bit of cleaning up will help them at all. Looks good on that side too. Okay, we're going to take these tuners now from the old guitar and see if we can clean them up a bit with some vinegar. Not sure if this is going to work, but we'll give it a shot. If not, might have to buy some new tuners. Just pour the vinegar over them. Let them soak in here. This up on its end. Move it over here a little bit. It won't be in the way. And put something underneath it to keep it at an angle to get all that stuff inside the vinegar. I'll take the vinegar. The vinegar is already working on it. It seems to be taking a lot of the grunge off it, if nothing else. And we'll see how this works out. Vinegar bath. Nothing like it. Some vinegar and dipped them in these tuners in the vinegar for about 24 hours. And as you can see, they came out a lot cleaner. They were really black originally. And took a little steel wool to some of the metal. Put some shine on it. This particular one, for some reason, does not have a chrome finish to it, but this one does. Strange, but that's the way they worked back in those days, I guess. So all I have to do now is eventually put these back on the guitar, and I think we'll be fine. Won't have to buy a brand new set. These will be the originals. What I work on today is widening the holes for these bridge pins. The ones that are in there now, even with the bridge pins that were in there, the original ones, which are really ratty looking, they wouldn't fit all the way down. As you can see, even these new ones that I bought, which are not that thick, that's it. If you force it down too much, of course, it's It's not going to go much further than that. So I think that these ought to be widened up a little bit. Now at first I was just going to use a regular drill to drill the hole a little wider, but on YouTube I found a suggestion that you use a reamer instead, because it has an angle to it, which the pin also has, and you don't really want it to just drop down into a hole. You want it to sort of fit the hole with an angle for the pin. So what I did was, I couldn't find a regular reamer, but I did find this what looks like a reamer. I assume it works that way, at Harbor Freight, and put it in my little drill. I'm going to try just a little bit at a time to find out how much space I'm going to need on that. So what we'll do is we'll switch the direction of the camera here. We can get a shot of what I'm doing without dropping the camera, preferably. Okay. What we'll do is we'll take the this reamer, put it in part way, and very slowly okay, there's a little bit of a hole more than it was. That's a little better already, as you can see. Alright, we'll try a little bit wider though. Okay, we'll drop it down a little more. That's a lot better. But you gotta figure you gotta get the string in there too, so maybe a little bit wider. Okay, I brought it up to, can't quite read the number, looks like maybe 1/6 or something like that. And I think that might be it. Let's take a look and see. Poke that dust down inside it. Yeah, that seems to be quite good. If I put my finger down in there, I can pop it back out again. Yeah, we wouldn't want to go much more than that. Now with the string in the way, of course, it's going to be just about right, I think. Alright, so let's see if we can do the rest of these. A little more on that. I think those bridge pins will fit a lot better now. Hopefully I won't lose them. Alright, there we go. Much nicer fit now for those bridge pins. Decided to take the tuners apart from the Gene Autry Roundup guitar, and it's interesting to note that one of them is rather plain type of tuner, nothing fancy about it, with brass type rods on it and brass gears, and the other one is a sort of a shiny chrome plated one with a sort of silver type gears and silver posts as well. So they're a little bit different. Don't know why, but I took them and put them in some vinegar for about 24 hours. Took them apart and cleaned up all the pieces. Look a lot better than they were. I'll be reassembling these and putting them back on the guitar eventually. Okay, I've done just about all I can do with this guitar without doing major surgery on it. I didn't want to have to do a neck reset, so what I did was instead I bought one of these things that they call a bridge system sold by can't think of their name at the moment, but I'm sure everyone knows of them. The guitar building place there, and it just goes down inside, and what it does is it takes the belly, which this did have, and flattens it out, so that lowers that whole portion quite a bit. And then I took a belt sander and sanded down the bridge, the top of the bridge, which is really thick, which raised those strings up, of course. And came out kind of nice, actually, because you have the walnut showing and the black still remaining around the edges. And also took the saddle here and sanded it down so that it's much lower to the base than it was. I'm going to try putting new strings on it now. I got some light strings through Martin and fixed up the tuning heads here so that they're a lot better looking than they were before. So we're going to string this up and let's see what happens. Okay, we've got the guitar all strung up now. Went over the body with some linseed oil to give it a little bit of a sheen to it. And it's pretty well set to be played now. The crack is holding up pretty good since I lowered the belly. Doesn't seem to be separated at all, so it's pretty fine. I think I'll leave it the way it is. The image can be seen a little better than it was before too. Worked on the neck a little bit, mainly worked on the bridge and lowered it down, and it brought the action down a little bit, maybe about an eighth of an inch, I'd say. I don't know if you can see that in there. Still a little high, but not as bad as it was. Someday, if I get the courage, I might end up taking the neck off and seeing if I can straighten it out a little more. That'll be down the road. Also, the pegs, tuning pegs, are a lot better than they were, and the head is a lot more visible too, the image on the top of it. Neck is in pretty good shape, nice and smooth. Body is holding up pretty good. So all I have to do is maybe play it a little bit now and see if it works.